In the heart of Colombia, where beauty meets chaos, one name reigned supreme: Pablo Escobar. To the world, he was the king of cocaine, controlling 80% of the global drug trade and earning over $420 million a week. But to some, he was a hero, building homes, schools, and even football fields for the poor. Yet, beneath the facade of generosity, lay a man who unleashed terror, bombings, assassinations, and a bloody war against his enemies, and the government became his trademarks. From a humble street thief to one of the wealthiest criminals in history, Escobar's story is one of ambition, blood, and betrayal. But how does a man rise so high, only to fall so hard? This is the untold story of Pablo Escobar, the man behind the myth. Before the world knew Pablo Escobar as the king of cocaine, he was just another child growing up in the dusty streets of Rionegro, Colombia. Born on December 1st, 1949, to a humble farmer and a schoolteacher, his early life was far from the luxury he later came to know. Pablo was the third of 7 children. While his father worked tirelessly on the farm, his mother instilled discipline through her work as a teacher. But even from a young age, Pablo showed signs of rebellion and ambition. Stories tell of him selling fake diplomas to make money, proving that his entrepreneurial spirit and willingness to bend the rules started early. By his teenage years, Escobar moved from petty theft to smuggling. He reportedly stole tombstones, polished them, and resold them to unsuspecting buyers. It was clear that he wasn't afraid to do whatever it took to get ahead. In the early 1970s, Escobar moved to Medellín, a city that would soon become the epicenter of his empire. Here, he began smuggling contraband like cigarettes and electronics, but it wasn't long before he found his true calling: trafficking cocaine. Escobar's entry into the cocaine trade was perfectly timed. By the 1980s, the demand for cocaine in the United States had skyrocketed, and Escobar saw an opportunity to dominate the market. He established the Medellín Cartel, a ruthless organization that controlled the production, transportation, and distribution of cocaine. Using clandestine labs deep in Colombia's jungles, the cartel manufactured thousands of kilos of cocaine every week. With an elaborate network of smugglers, the drugs found their way into every major city in the U.S. At the height of its power, the Medellín Cartel was making $70 million a day, making Escobar one of the richest men in the world. But wealth and power came at a cost. His rivals, the government, and even the U.S. DEA had him in their sights. Escobar's empire was built on fear, violence, and corruption. By the early 1990s, Escobar's empire began to crumble. The Colombian government, under pressure from the United States, launched an all-out war against the Medellín Cartel. With his name topping the DEA's most wanted list, Escobar became a fugitive. In 1991, Escobar surrendered, but on his own terms. He built his own prison, La Catedral, a luxurious fortress where he continued to run his empire. But after escaping in 1992, he became a fugitive, hunted by both the authorities and his enemies. On December 2nd, 1993, Pablo Escobar's reign of terror came to an end. After a dramatic manhunt, he was cornered on a rooftop in Medellín. In a final, desperate shootout, Escobar was killed by Colombian forces. But his death didn't end the violence. It marked the beginning of a new chapter in Colombia's bloody history. Today, Escobar's legacy is a complex one. While his empire is gone, the drug trade continues to plague Colombia. Medellín, once the murder capital of the world, has transformed into a vibrant city, but the scars of Escobar's reign remain. Experts say Escobar's story is a cautionary tale of how unchecked ambition and greed can lead to destruction, not just for oneself, but for entire nations. His rise and fall is a story of ambition, violence, and tragedy, a story that still captivates the world. Pablo Escobar's life serves as a reminder of how power and greed can destroy lives. But what do you think? Was he a criminal mastermind or a product of his environment? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more untold stories from the world of crime.